Hello all, welcome to another video. This video is going to start off with a bit of a rant actually, and this rant is directed at Carphone Warehouse. Of all places, Carphone Warehouse. If you're going to open up interest, reservations, pre-orders, etc. for people with sending them unique individual codes, make sure you have the stock. Also, make sure you send them their codes before you start selling the phones so they actually have a chance at being able to buy them. So what happened? Right. As people may be aware, there is a new Nokia 3310. 2 seconds. I'm going to go off camera just a moment. Here we are. Look at that. I have my original. Jeremy Clarkson Smugface. They're not quite as legendary as everybody remembers. However, it's a clever piece of marketing by the new Nokia company, and you can't blame them for trying. However, if you're going to claim that it's a remake of the original, have the same button layout. Rant on that over. Anyway, so what happened was I registered my interest for that phone, waited on my code, got my code through. Unfortunately, I got my code through, like a great many other people, on the day that it was supposed to be for sale. Now that wouldn't be too much of a problem, but the phone went on sale, I believe at 10 AM. By about 7 minutes past 10, they were sold out. My code, and a lot of other people's as well, came through mid-afternoon of that day. Thanks, Carphone Warehouse, appreciate it. So, I was struggling a little bit. My old iPhone 5, which you've seen in a previous video, it suffered everything. I've just recently sold it actually, but it suffered everything, it really did. And one of the things that a mobile phone is supposed to be used for is to make phone calls. It's not an unreasonable request. However, that phone was having serious issues and couldn't even do that anymore. Now the person who's bought it simply wants to use it in home as a basic iOS gaming device. Fine. So they know that it doesn't make calls properly and whatnot, but they were happy to take it, so no issues there. So not being able to get my Nokia 3310 V2, we'll add on the end of that, I decided, well, screw you Carphone Warehouse, I'm still going to go and buy a phone because I need one. Now why do I have two phones? One is family, friends, the other one is for business stuff. So as it's in a garage especially, I don't want to be taking I believe it was nearly £700 iPhone 6S with 128 gig as well into such an environment, because horrible smashing things will occur, and I don't want that happening with this. It's a very expensive little slab effectively. So I decided to be a big spender, and as I couldn't get my Nokia 3310 but was adamant I was going to get a Nokia regardless, I went and bought a Nokia 130. Now, what is a Nokia 130? It's a mobile phone, that's about it. So this is not smartphone territory at all. How did it come to me? Teeny little box, like that. Tiny little, it's not very big at all. What was the contents? Because obviously I'm not going to bother doing an unboxing, because all that's in there now is a receipt. A wall charger, a battery, and a phone. That's it. No earphones, no nothing. None too surprising, considering, and yes, this is on the O2 network here in the UK, but that's fine because the SIM card I'm using is an O2 SIM card, so no issues. But anyway, as for the lack of things in it, none too surprising considering brand spanking new from Tesco's themselves, $14.99. I can't argue at all. So, for those who want to see what the phone looks like, I'll try and get the display up and running. There we are. There it is. That's the thing. Isn't it small? Isn't it tiny? if I can figure out which way I'm going with this. Yes, there we are. Look, for all you young people, that's a keypad. You press physical buttons. No tapping the screen on this. It doesn't work. So what does the phone have in terms of features? Honestly, for £15 it's quite surprising. A lot of you, again, youngsters, will probably laugh at what this has and basically deem it as nothing, but when you come from mobile phones like this thing is in a completely different league. So, it can make calls, it can receive calls, it can send and receive text messages, it has no internet connectivity of any kind in any way, shape or form. No 2G, no 3G, no 4G, no Wi-Fi, no nothing, not even GPRS, not a damn thing. It has Bluetooth because primarily I think the mobile phone manufacturers have had a lot of pressure to add Bluetooth to all of their mobile phones because of the whole not using your mobile phone while driving. Spot on, well done, no issues with that whatsoever. So yes, it does have Bluetooth. I need to unlock the keypad here. There we are. It has a choice of 3 wallpapers, and that's it. For some strange reason it has a video player. Go figure. It can take a 32 gig micro SD card, and it does have a music player. That could actually be quite helpful, in all honesty. I am a slightly larger gentleman, however much I don't want to admit that, and I need to potentially not be such a larger gentleman and need to go out and go for a run and things like that. Again, I don't want to be taking a £600–700 iPhone with me. I'd rather take the £15 cheapie. Sound quality on it is actually very good, quite pleased with it. There is no camera at all, you cannot take photos with this in any way, shape or form. On the back it has a torch and it has a speaker hole at the back, micro USB for data transfer and charging, and a headphone jack, and that's it. There's nothing else anywhere else on the phone. Data transfer, by God, just take the battery out, put the SD card in your machine and do it that way. Don't try and do it with the phone. It was transferring files at about 200 kilobits a second. Yeah, there's not a problem with my USB ports at all. It seems that's about as fast as the phone can go. Not too surprising, considering again it's only a £15 phone. You know, we've got to give it a lot of leeway here. It's doing a lot for its price range. So in the menu, you've got your simple call register, contacts, you've got the music player, which I discussed a moment ago, video player, which there is legitimately no point to that at all, unless you want to watch the worst possible quality AVI files you've ever seen. Messages, clock, settings, of which there's not a great deal. There's nothing really for me to discuss in that, to be honest. It's just very, very basic settings. It has a version of Snake on there as the only game that it has and the only one that's available for it. And under extras you've simply got reminders, a calculator, calendar and the torch. But it does have one other feature. It has a radio in there. Now, forgive me for seeming quite surprised about all this. However, I was actually quite taken back by that. It has a radio. Now, although the radio doesn't work without a connected headset, but when the headset's connected you can put it on the loudspeaker, but if you disconnect the headset the radio will go off. Go figure with that. But anyway, I was quite surprised with that, to be quite honest, the fact that it had a radio. Again, keep in mind, this is £15. 15. Brand new. And this has got more features, and a colour screen for starters. This has got more features than this had not that long ago, and this thing cost me like £130 brand new, back in the days when phones were a little bit more reasonably priced than they are now. So this is a worthy successor to this, in all honesty. I'm surprised. Although, this has got something going for it that this has not. And it's not just its legendary status that it seems to have accumulated by people who are a little bit, I don't know, either with the nostalgia goggles or something, but it's never been as great as everybody seems to think it is. It's a damn good phone, but it's never been as great as people are making it out to be. I don't understand why they're doing that. This weighs a lot more. This is pretty much as light as a feather, in all honesty. If I was to drop this on the floor, in fact, it's £15. Oh, look at that. The back's come off, the battery's fallen out, and it made a horrible tinny sound as it hit the floor. Unfortunately, it has got a dead battery. I'm fairly sure the phone still works, but it has got a dead battery. It does not charge, it does not power up. So again, I have no issues in doing this. I think that dented the floor, actually. Now, here's my hands. I'm going to go pick them up. Here's the 3310. The case hasn't even moved. Here's the Nokia 130. It fell to pieces. There we are. And now, for you lovely people, I now have to sit and reset the date and time on this. That's the only thing that the old Nokia 3310 has got over this, is the fact that the build quality is vastly superior. But again, in all honesty, what do you expect for £15? That's damn good. Would I suggest one? No, unless you have legitimate reason to want something as cheap as this. That never gets old. However, for the sake of getting the brand back out there after the whole Microsoft fiasco, I applaud Nokia's efforts. I really do. I applaud Nokia's efforts. This has got me out of a bind. It's not cost me the earth. It's got an interesting little feature set to it as well. It's fairly robust. I have got a case for it, which that's literally the only one that you can get aftermarket for this. I would have been happier with a nice silicone rubber case or something on it. But yeah, to just simply make calls, receive calls, listen to the radio, listen to some music you've put on it, perfectly good. And the sound quality of a headset is actually really, really good. I mean, it's not on par with the iPhone, let's be honest. However, it's got some good bass to it. It doesn't sound horribly grainy and tinny. And I've used some good headphones with it as well, so I would know if this was the issue. I wouldn't say it's premium quality, but it is very. You can sit there and listen to it. And in all honesty, unless you're a massive audiophile, you're not really going to know that much of a difference, to be quite honest. So would I suggest it as a backup phone, a temporary phone, one to just buy, use quickly, and then chuck in a drawer and forget about? Yes, absolutely. Again, you can't argue with the price point at all, and I very much applaud Nokia's efforts on this. It's an interesting little thing, but it's certainly getting them back out there, as well as their creative marketing with the 3310 V2. That's also getting their name out there as well, and is very interesting. But if Nokia come back making phones like this, because the whole smartphone thing is brilliant, yes it is, absolutely, not going to argue with it, but it's a little bit annoying every now and again. You're basically relying on a computer in your pocket that's heavily reliant on software to be able to do basic functionality. This, I'm fairly sure, is a little Java based OS, as you can call it. It's basically, it's an OS on a chip, effectively. It's as simple can be. There's no updates for it. There's no additional software downloads. There's no user license agreements or iCloud backup or any of this. There's nothing at all. It's come out the factory knowing that it works, knowing that it's going to work basically until the end of time. That's the type of mobile phones that we need to have come back. So the fact that Nokia's doing it, yes, this one's a little cheap, but it's £15. The fact that Nokia's doing it again is superb, and it means if they keep doing things like this, I think I'll pretty much not only always have a Nokia in my life as my business phone, but at the same time it gives me the incentive to replace it every year. So that's repeat custom. My iPhone, hell no, I will not replace that every year at all. So Nokia in the end will get a lot more money out of me than Apple ever will. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. Comment, subscribe, etc. And I will catch you all in the next video.